I've had the chance to go to Yakima a couple times and experience the hop harvest. As a brewer, there's really nothing like it. Because it only happens once a year, there's just an intensity. The aroma of the hops that's in the air in the entire Yakima Valley is something you just can't really grasp your hands and really understand until you get there. The way that it works is that there are hops growing in many, many different fields, giant plots of different varieties, Cascade, Simcoe, Chinook, Centennial, all kinds of different hop varieties growing. They are strung from the ground to the trellises above. It's about a 20-foot trellis that holds and supports all the hop systems. It's very visually impressive to see the canopies and the rows of hops that come out of the ground. When you're touring the hop fields, you're allowed to walk down the center aisles and just sort of experience what it's like to look at the hops and pluck one off and smell them and sort of check to see how ripe they are, look at the level of readiness for them to be picked. A lot of trucks moving around at that time. The trucks that are cutting the bottom of the system, the top of the system, the guys that are collecting them. They take them back to the hop processing centers. Some of the most interesting pieces of equipment that I've ever seen. There are not much uses for hop processing equipment off-season, so these machines really only run for about a 30 to 45-day window. The hops are brought in from the field on about 20-foot strings of rope. They get strung up by one guy out of the back of a truck. They get carried up into this giant infrastructure above the warehouse that they're in, and they at that point are then sent into a processing machine. The processing machine has picking fingers on each side that strip all of the excess material, leaves, etc., things like that off of the hop cones. They go up and over a sequence of tumblers and shakers trying to separate the hop cones, because this is the only piece of thing that matters to a brewer, from all of the other extra material, whether it's rope, parts of the vine, leaves, etc. That's all kind of excess material that you don't want in your kettles and things. Once the hops have gone through the shaking process and have been separated from all of the extra material, they end up in a giant kiln. And the kiln is a slatted floor with propane burners underneath it. At about 4 feet tall, they load in these kilns, and it takes about 24 hours to take the moisture content from anywhere from about 20 to 30% water weight down to about 7 to 10% water weight in the hop cones. And that allows them to then be compressed and baled. And the baling process is how hop buyers receive the hops from the farmers themselves. So the hop bales in burlap bags get compressed in a giant machine, and they get hand stitched shut. Those bales then get sent on a truck, forklifted off the truck for inspection at the hop warehouses. The hop warehouses have a bunch of people running around weighing, measuring, cataloging, pulling samples from, looking at the hops that are coming in and they're receiving them. It's a very impressive process to watch these guys run around, because again, this only takes place in about a 30 to 45-day window. All sorts of stuff going on. Visually, from the hop fields to the hop processing, it's a pretty quick process. The flowers that I'm holding in my hand would have been picked during the day, processed and sent to the hop process, from the hop processor to the hop purveyor in less than 24 hours. So very quickly from the field to the farmer, and from the farmer back to the processor in 24 hours, at which point they are ready to be brewed with and ready to be shipped out.